Welcome to the Savvy Dentist Podcast with Dr. Jesse Green, the show where great dentistry meets great business. Listen in each week as we bring you an inspiring person who will share their story, ideas and business techniques to help you create a practice and a life you love. And now introducing your host, Dr. Jesse Green.
So let's start with retention and why it is so necessary, why it is the new black. Imagine that you've gone out on a date with your significant other, your husband, your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whomever, right? You're sitting at the table and you just happen to notice that your partner is checking out the hottie on the next table. I don't know. How would you feel? Pretty lousy, right? It's exactly the same with your patients. If you're going out there marketing in the general public and neglecting the people who are actually there, who currently pay your bills, then I can guarantee you they're going to feel exactly the same way as your spouse or partner if you're checking out the hottie on the next door table, right? So you need to make sure that you're looking after the people who currently pay your bills. And retention is like the little black dress. It never goes out of style. Ladies, you'll get that, right? Okay. Every lady I know likes to have a little black dress in the wardrobe, and it never goes out of style. The problem is if you don't nail retention, it is the number one profit leak in your business. Okay. Because you spend all this time, energy, and effort marketing. And we know that attracting new patients costs 6 times more than retaining an existing one. So I'll share a story with you. When I was in Canberra in 2008, we decided for family reasons we'd sell our practice. And this was literally just before the GFC started. And so we moved to Brisbane, because I'm a Queenslander, and I started working at a practice in town. And this particular practice was very well established, and I'm not going to mention names, but it was very well established. It had been there for decades, like literally decades. And so what actually happened is, as I got there, this practice, I noticed the patient flow was really up and down. And the receptionist who'd been there for 30 years said, that's just the way it is in this practice. It's feast or famine. Sometimes we're really busy, sometimes we're really quiet. And no one was ever curious enough to try and figure out why. And what had actually happened is this. They had lost 14,000 patients, 14,000 over the space of 7 years. 14,000. Anyone know how many patients an average caseload a dentist would have? 2,000 is a pretty healthy patient base. That's 7 dental practices they let go in 7 years. A practice a year. Now it's bizarrely impressive. Who knew that you could be that incompetent? So this is why retention is so important. Now, here's another thing. Each new patient or each patient, let's think about this for a second. Let's put a dollar value to this. In our practice, we measure new patient value, and I'm going to suggest you guys should too. Each new patient practice, conservatively, like uber conservatively, if we said $500, right, no one's going to object to that. Okay? Doesn't take into account the lifetime value, but each new patient, that's $7 million that they let walk out of their doors over 7 years. $7 million, 14,000 patients, 7 dental practices. Why? Because they did not understand retention. And they spent a fortune on marketing. They spent a fortune on pay-per-click advertising, the silver bullet stuff, right? They spent a fortune on direct mail, trying to do this, trying to do that. Yet all they needed to do was stick their finger in the dike and plug the leak, and they would have been much better off. Yeah? So it's absolutely critical. Ultimately, a lack of retention can kill your practice and send you broke. Okay, so it is really, really important to get this right. If you master it, though, it is your recurring profit model. It is your constant stream of people coming in every 6 months for their recall, having the fillings, having the crown and bridge done, all that sort of stuff. That is the recurring profit model of your business. The number one asset of your business is, of course, other than you as the practitioner, the number one asset is your database. So we want to protect and manage the database. It is critical. When we bought our practice in Canberra, we bought a database. It had the crappiest fit out you've ever seen. We had carpet on our walls. But here's the thing. A database can buy a fit out. A fit out cannot buy a database, right? You got to protect the database. It is the source of your revenue. All right, so let's talk about creating a compelling reason to stay. We want to make sure that there are some key elements covered in this. The first element is about building and maintaining relationships. It's about loyalty and trust. If you want to have patients retained, they've got to be loyal to you. They've got to trust you. They've got to like you. We need to build value. We need to understand the law of importance, which basically says that patients will value what we do as much as we do, but no more. Okay? Let me repeat that. Patients will only value dentistry as much as the importance we place on it and no more. So we need to build value for what we do. We also need to create a sense of community so patients feel like they belong. And when you have this combination of all these four elements coming together, you create that compelling reason to stay.
Thank you for listening to the Savvy Dentist podcast with Dr. Jesse Green. For more free tools and resources, join the free Facebook group. Visit drjessegreen.com/Facebook. And for more episodes, visit drjessegreen.com/savvydentist.